The 2026 Formula One season is fast approaching, and everyone can't wait to see what drama awaits. From what we've heard so far, there's a lot to look forward to. We are all still a little bit tired of the races being almost always predictable, and can't wait to see the grid reshuffled. Drivers would be switching teams, new teams would be joining, and, of course, the cars will be completely different due to the changes in regulations. So, in this video, we'll be looking at some of the changes that will come in 2026, with a major focus on wind tunnel testing. Y'all should stick around, it's gonna be great. Chapter 1. Why is the wind tunnel important? We all know Formula One is a thrilling sport, with cars racing at speeds of over 200 miles per hour. But during the early stages of development, it's hard to subject the cars to the same condition as that on the racetrack. So, how do these teams know their cars will perform? It's all thanks to a little something called a wind tunnel. Dan Fallows, the technical director of the Aston Martin Aramco F1 team, describes the wind tunnel in an interview. It's really just a big, well, very big, metal tube with a fan in it. The wind tunnel is basically a large tube-like room with an enormous fan at one end, and a 60% scale model of a Formula One car hanging from the ceiling. A rolling track beneath the scale model acts like the road of a Formula One circuit, and this allows the engineers to study the car's aerodynamics without actually going on track. Instead of the car moving around the circuit, the car stays in one place, but the road moves and air flows around it. We simulate all of the conditions the car would see as it goes around the circuit, and, more importantly, we can directly measure the loads that would play on the car as it goes around the track in those conditions. It gives us a very accurate understanding of the forces around the car, and, if we do an update, what it would do for us. It shows us what lap time or performance gain we could get. All through the year, teams improve new parts that affect the car's aerodynamics, like changes to the front and rear wings, the side pods, and the car floor. These parts are first tested through a simulated computer model known as computational fluid dynamics, or CFD, and then the scale models of these parts are placed on the car in the wind tunnel. There, every form of testing would be done to ensure the part serves its purpose. Lately, the wind tunnel has become crucial in the development of Formula One cars due to the increased focus on aerodynamics. Previously, the focus had been on powertrains or something else, but since 2022, the regulation has been more about downforce and airflow and aerodynamic stuff. Chapter 2. Wind tunnel testing time. Previously, teams could spend as much time as they wanted to test their cars in the factory and the wind tunnel. But as the rules tilted towards more aerodynamic changes, the governing council discovered that teams who had more money and spent more time in the wind tunnel had better advantage. Hence the birth of the limit placed on the wind tunnel testing time. The changes made in 2021 reduced the default allowance by more than 30%, but that was not all. For the first time, the number of hours was to be determined by on-track results. That means finishing higher in the Constructors' Championship got you less wind tunnel time, and finishing lower got you more. The higher you go, the harder it gets, right? The new rule was established in the hope of creating a more level grid. So far, we can't say the grid has been leveled, but the rule, alongside the huge splash and cost cap, has definitely switched things up. In the first year of regulations, Mercedes and Red Bull, who were the title contenders, remained on top, with Max Verstappen prevailing over Lewis Hamilton in the end. Then, in 2022, Red Bull sprung ahead, showing that the reduction in wind tunnel testing time did not affect their performance. The Milton Keynes team also stayed ahead in 2023, but it seems the 2024 season is a little different. McLaren, who was previously a midfielder, is currently number 2 on the Drivers' Championship table, showing that the field is already leveling. We can't attribute this success fully to the changes made in wind tunnel testing, but it definitely plays a part, as the McLaren team has had more time to work on their car and straighten out their faults. For the 2026 season, the wind tunnel time would be even more important because of the technical overhaul. Every team, whether they're top players or the bottom fielders, would have to use the very little time they've got to make changes to their cars for 2025 and also start development of the next season's car. Fallows explains how difficult it will be for all teams. It's very tricky to allocate the time because we have a finite amount of resources. But no doubt, for 2026, people will be starting their development an awful lot earlier. We're actually not allowed to start research on that until January 1st of 2025. But I guarantee every team will be doing that on the first day of the new year. Chapter 3. What are the aerodynamic changes for 2026? In this speech during the launch of the 2026 regulations, the FIA president Mohammed bin Sulayem said, "The key features of the 2026 F1 regulations are advanced sustainability, technology, and safety. Our aim, together with Formula One, was to produce a car that was right for the future of the sport's elite category. We believe we have achieved that goal." From 2026 onwards, Formula One will have more agile cars that will battle better on track because they are 30 kilograms lighter, have a restructured power unit with more battery power and equal split between internal combustion engine and electrical power unit, in addition to the use of 100% sustainable fuels, improved safety due to the vehicle's stronger structures and tougher tests, increased overtaking opportunities due to the introduction of a new system that gives drivers a short burst of extra battery power when about a second away from the car in front, and finally, the introduction of active aerodynamics. Let's buttress on the aerodynamics aspect. In the statement released by the FIA, it was shared that the cars will become lighter and smaller. This will be achieved by reducing the wheelbase to 3,400 millimeters and the width to 1,900 millimeters. The cars are also to have a minimum weight of 768 kilograms, 30 kilograms less than the 2022 cars. The FIA also revealed that the downforce is to be reduced by 30% and drag by 55%. And although the Pirelli 18-inch wheel size introduced in 2022 will remain, the width of the 2026 tires has been reduced by 25 millimeters and 30 millimeters for the front and rear wheels respectively. Then there will be new aero innovations. The 2026 cars will be able to interchange between two configurations. They could either minimize fuel consumption or maximize cornering performance. New active aerodynamic systems involving movable front and rear wings are also being launched. This active aero system will be suitable for use in zones like those used for the present DRS overtaking aid.
Doing enough, is it? It's 12 miles an hour, but he's got good VMAX at the end of the straight though, and braver on the brakes. So there's an overtake using a button, as you see the letterbox opening at the back of the rear wing there.
Chapter 4. Who's gonna be the king? Most teams have been putting a lot of things in place to ensure they're putting their best foot forward in 2026, the beginning of a new era. Red Bull is building their powertrains. Mercedes is seriously re-evaluating its strategy. Ferrari is bringing in Hamilton. McLaren has brought in new technology, but Aston Martin is bringing out the big guns. Since Lawrence Stroll bought the Aston Martin team in 2021, he has been pumping so much cash to ensure that the team reaches its true potential.
Ignition sequence
Just about a year ago, the team got a new campus in Silverstone, and it came with interesting facilities. However, recently, they announced that they would be launching a state-of-the-art wind tunnel before 2025. This is a massive feat for the team because it has been using Mercedes wind tunnel located in Brackley since 2018. Although the Mercedes tunnel served them well, it came with certain restrictions. Besides the wind tunnel testing, the team is bringing in some top F1 personnel. Former Ferrari chassis technical director Enrico Cardile will become the team's chief technical officer in 2025. Mercedes AMP HPP's former managing director, Andy Cole, will become the chief executive officer, and they're currently courting Red Bull's design expert, Adrian Newey. One more thing is that the team will be kissing Mercedes' power unit, gearbox, and rear suspension goodbye, as it's going to team up with Honda in 2026. The competition never stops in Formula One, not even in the off-season. Do you want to know how the FIA regulates competition in F1? Check out this video. This one regulation change that impacted Formula One forever.